Hello everyone, and welcome back to Disco Elysium. Last time, we got a few new tasks. We need to find a working class husband, we need to find our heraldic bird, and we need to fridge the victim's body. And from the previous time, we also have to open an apartment door for Everard. I think, for right now, the victim's body, freezing it takes precedence. And I do believe that Kuno mentioned that we need to ask the key, or rather, we need to ask for access from Plaisance, from the bookstore. We already did, so we have the key to enter the doomed commercial area. Try to find that fridge that Kuno mentioned.
You're alive and well. Don't keep me waiting now. What's in there? In that dark sarcophagus?
Hold on, I haven't actually done anything yet. I just wanted to ask a few questions.
Oh. What about?
Her disappointment is obvious. Well, we did have the new quest about cockatoos. I'm looking for a book about cockatoos.
A book about cockatoos? There should be one upstairs, right next to the shelf of biographies.
Beautiful. See if we can find that while we're here.
A sulfur-crested cockatoo sits on the cover, its beak slightly open. It looks as if the bird is calling out the book title, From A to Zurich, a guide to a well-behaved cockatoo.
Flip through the pages.
Turns out that there are so many different cockatoo species, and they all have behavioral problems. You don't have behavioral problems. That's garbage. You're cool.
What about this guide to cockatoos, storekeeper?
It's a must-have if you own a cockatoo. I've heard they're quite capricious.
We could try to steal it, though. And if we were to equip our interfacing gloves, it would make the stealing much easier. Maybe I'll leave that up to the chat, though. Or maybe I won't, because we just gained a thought. We internalized a thought. Let's have a look at that first, I guess.
Call the Mama Dakwa. It's not only your eardrums that register sound anymore. Your very skin has become an organ of hearing. Looking for a whisper light and low. A god who's very, very silent. Nothing escapes you. A cockroach in the other room. A candy wrapper falling on dry grass. A drunk falling from a chair in a bar 20 meters away. In fact, you haven't heard the Col du Mama Dakwa, but you have discovered that you have amazing hearing. It must be the only part of you the alcohol hasn't drowned out. Keep listening.
Okay. We internalized the Col de Mama d'Aqua. We haven't actually found it. But it does give us +3 to perception thanks to Golden Ear, and -1 to Encyclopedia. No room for anything else. We'll accept. That brings our perception to 6, which makes it the best motoric skill we have at the moment. It's not bad to have. We may have a couple of checks we want to look into later. Everyone knows the most interesting thing about fascists was their magic. Okay, this refers to something we didn't get before. Sometimes the game bugs out like this. It gives you blips where you don't need them. Regardless, we have this book. Chat.
A sulfur-crested cockatoo sits on the cover. Its beak slightly.
Do we steal it?
It looks as if the bird
Or do we buy it? It's your call. Do we steal the guide to cockatoos? Or do we are we just gonna straight up buy it? I click this button, it should give you the options here on the left. What shall we do? Nothing really? No opinion? Shall we steal it? Does it not work? Sometimes it doesn't work. I'm just gonna click it again, just in case. It should pop up here on the stream. You should be able to click it. Perhaps not. Well, I mean, what's the fun of not trying to steal it? Our interfacing is really high. Also, -1 because of angry storekeeper stare down. Let's try stealing it, though.
You wait for the storekeeper to be distracted. When she's not looking, you haul the tome of cockatoos into your pocket. It's quite a challenge, but eventually, the guide to the cockatoos is yours. Splendid effort.
Excellent. Alright, so we're looking for the fridge, but we also got the book to cockatoos. We actually have a fair amount of books at this point, which we've yet to read any of these. This is the latest one we got. A book about different cockatoo species and their behavioral problems. Perhaps it could also offer some insight into your own often problematic actions. The spectacular majestic cockatoo eyes you from the cover. We have a whole bunch of other books. I'm sure we'll have time to read them later. Right now, we need to find a fridge. Ghostly silhouettes of hairdryers. A vaguely androgynous portrait of a man. Androgynous? I'm sorry. Second language. Merely looking at that unmanly haircut threatens your masculinity. I think that was Physical Instrument telling us that. Well, here's the door. Guarded by wards. Supposedly.
A door with a missing handle stands before you, covered in dozens, if not hundreds, of Seminese trinkets and charms. It appears to be locked.
Yes, well, yeah, Plaisance did mention she protected it with wards. Let's knock on it first.
Only an echo. No one is there. A hollowed out, dark echo.
Well, we could unlock it with the key. We could also still just break it down. I think I'll leave this one up for the chat as well. Shall we just be reasonable and open it with the key? Or shall we still try to break it down at 28% chance? What do you think we should do? I like that we still have the option to break down the door, even if we do have the key. There's no reason for us to break it down. Yeah, well, since nobody's saying anything, I guess we'll just be reasonable about it and unlock it with the key, like a boring person.
After exerting some force, you manage to turn the key. It's eerily silent. The door slides slightly open, letting a draft of cold air into the room. You feel the tiny hairs on the back of your neck rise up, as if someone's standing right behind you.
Touch the back of your neck. What is this feeling?
Outside, the wind howls in from across the bay. The building at Rue de Saint-Ghislain stands like a matchbox on its side, with men inside like little wooden sticks ready to catch fire. A panicking woman squeezes the pendant around her neck until it leaves a mark inside her palm. A man, a few meters away, stands frozen with a key in his hand. Somewhere inside, a spider is spinning its web.
Kim, maybe you should go first.
Detective, you're the one in charge.
The lieutenant motions toward the door. Fine. Let's open the door and enter. Shivers was bringing the hair at the back of our head, and our neck, to its end, so we got a little scared there. It appears Kim has something to say. What is it?
What is this place?
The lieutenant stares at the dusty training equipment. Well, I mean, yeah, there was the, we did try to call here to Artemitap's boxing club for young athletes. I do like the first option more, though. I'm just gonna leave this up to chat as well. Maybe it'll work this time. What shall we say? What is this place? Chat is so unopinionated today. Well, I think this may be, you know, Artemitap's, the one we saw before.
I think you're right, though it looks like no one's been here in ages. I doubt the electricity still works. Good thing we have a flashlight on us. Don't forget to take it out of your bag before we move on.
Some specks of dust shimmer in a faint beam of daylight falling from the window. Other than that, the room is dark. An eerie feeling rises in your chest.
What if there's a reason why no one's been here for ages?
Yes, because it's closed. No need to look for supernatural explanations where a banal one will do. Now let's move on, shall we?
Let's. Sand is dripping from a punch bag. The poster says Citius Fortis. The rest is worn off. Worn out wall bars. They look unsafe. Also had a blip. Smells like leather and sweat.
A barbell lies on the floor. The color has worn off its weight plates. It's 60 kilograms. Your triceps hum at the sight of these weights. Show the world what kind of beast it's dealing with. Lift them.
Yeah, I'd imagine Physical Instrument does get a little bit excited about this.
There are no collars on the barbell. This is a safety hazard. Why does it feel so familiar?
Is this familiar because I'm a weightlifter?
No, it's not that. It's the stale smell of rubber, the squeaky sound of sneakers, your bruised knee against the mat, and a whistle. Then the feeling is gone. It's just a memory.
Of what, though?
A memory from another life. When you were young and fit.
Ah, good old days. I mean, Physical Instrument really wants us to lift this barbell. Look, Kim, it's a trap. There are no collars on the barbell.
You're right. The weight may fall off. Better not touch it then.
What kind of a bastard would just remove the collars? It should be a felony.
It would be a violation of EPIS safety regulations if the gym was still operating, but it isn't. No one's supposed to come here anymore.
Well, I suppose that is our signature skill. We should try to lift it. However, the chat can give me a boost to my physique if they so choose, and make it a little bit easier for me to actually lift the barbell. Once I click this button, you should have the option to increase one of my stats, reduce one of them. Let's hope it works. It's a 42%. It's not an awful chance to begin with, but it could be better. Still at 42. Let's try it. Hey, we did it.
Conjuring up an inhuman amount of strength, you raise the barbell up in the air. Your biceps tremble, but you're a savage. This is a children's game.
I'm a true champion.
A warm wave of accomplishment washes over your head as you drop the barbell to the floor. For a moment, it feels like you're strong enough to succeed at anything you ever set your mind to. Hey, but you're still in a ghost house. What if someone heard this? What if they know you're here?
Good technique.
Well, I guess that's it. We healed one morale by doing that. So not too shabby. We're still in a ghost house. Inland Empire just is thinking about the worst possible scenarios all the time. Let's leave it. Okay, Kim did mention we should bring out our flashlight. Let's do that. As well as... I guess let's hold on to the ledger. It's going to reduce our authority, but we're not really a person of authority. I mean, technically we are, I suppose. The hallway's blocked by old window panes and debris. A large demijohn full of strange liquid. Wild animals stare at you in the dark, stuffed and mounted. Airship rotors covered in spider webs. They remind you of blades. Looks like the remains of the 24-hour window repair shop. We did have a look at that. It was one of the buttons on the intercom. A naked mannequin torso. A strange yellow color. Oh, got some real. A fair bit of it, too. Blue velvet. Soft to the touch. Moth-bitten. And even more money. Oh, look at that. We have almost twice the amount we need for guards. For the hostel bill. Is this Emma's atelier? There was another name in the intercom. Skis with slipstream printed on the laminated top layer. Steel rotor blades bearing a Slipstream logo. So this is Slipstream SCA.
Looks like someone tried to reconceptualize their business here.
Oh, what's that conceptualization? I don't get it.
Look, the skis and rotor blades both bear the same Slipstream logo. It seems likely that they started out making one, failed to turn a profit, and then pivoted to producing the other.
So, but the question is, which did they start with? And which did they pivot to?
That's a good question.
What a strange leap of imagination, and yet they still failed. How sad.
Reality is ruthless.
It is. Production schedule filament memory? Let's have a closer look at that. The cube-like crisscross of filaments feels oddly fragile in your hand, its intricate structure covered in dust. Silver tape on the side reads, Production schedule. Note. This filament contains information that can be read using a radio computer. Very well then. We also got a photo of a happy couple. I'm not sure if we took a look at this before, but a black and white photo of a couple posing in front of a Ferris wheel. The girl is young and pretty, the man clad in fancy uniform and smiling. On the back of a very steady hand has written the words, Rivershell Fair, summer of 91. It would be 60 years ago from today. But where are the clothes it used to display? That would be referring to the mannequin, I'm sure. For some reason, the blips show up at weird times. Sometimes a little bit too late.
An iron safety curtain curves before your eyes, folded like a bellows. It covers half the room, blocking the way into a colossal industrial chimney. This must be where the entity lives.
Oh yes, the entity. Let's knock on it.
What an odd thing to do. Nothing happens.
Knock on it harder.
Still nothing. No one's home.
Knock even harder.
Those curtains prove to be surprisingly sturdy. Your fist hurts now.
I took damage from that.
If this is really an entrance to the chimney, then there must be a furnace somewhere as well. Maybe there's another way to get in.
Can you please try to refrain from attacking random things?
This is not random, this is significant. I want to see what's on the other side.
Why do you think there's something on the other side, necessarily?
The lieutenant asks, but you can see a spark of curiosity in his eyes.
In any case, there's no way we can get in right now. Let's investigate further.
Let's. Got a postcard. La Delta 51. The sunlight has made this postcard almost completely sepia-toned. Midtown traffic passes. Overhead, the ghosts of skyscrapers disappear into a beige midday mist. That was really I really suffered with that one. I really struggled with it. Vapor rising from the delta on which the district was built. The postcard is prepaid. And on the postcard, got a few of those. The floorboards creak. Shoes in a puddle of melting snow. Does someone live here? What's this then?
Your flashlight slides over an old green chalkboard covered in scribbles, sketches, and schemes like some ancient cave mural. Some of the writing has faded with age, but you can still make out sections here and there. Photos and drawings have been pinned to the board.
Inspect the drawings.
These lithe, pointy-eared creatures appear to be different types of welkins. You make out autumnal candle welkins casting wax-based magic. Translucent welkins with organs shining under their skin. And even ether welkins hailing from the vast emptiness of sidereal space. Who are all those creatures? Fantasies of a tortured, feverish mind? One of the welkins, towering among the rest, appears to be different, however.
Examine the Velkin. This is important.
It's Vara Hamira, a high welkin, his face white and scarred like cracked marble. This is clearly a Welkin supremacist. The note says, all non-Welkin races will be purged.
A Varahamira, you say. It's not a word exactly. But Vara would refer to something high.
The Haldor, the Twarg, the humans, and even headless men, all of them, purged. Imagine a world filled only with Welkin, Green Welkin, Dread Welkin, and the High Welkin to rule them all.
An inordinate amount of time has gone into drawing these little Welkin creatures.
Why would anyone spend so much time on this?
Some people really like building a world, I think, even if it's just for a game.
Okay. See this right here? I can't help but think that this is a meta commentary on the game itself by the devs themselves. We'll be seeing some of that. But something about that comment just strikes me as we had a lot of fun creating our little world. Which they definitely did. They definitely created a world. Anyway. Who are these creatures? Who drew them? Are they real? I have so many questions.
This looks like concept art for a project. It's not really real.
One of them is a Welkin supremacist.
Political commentary. That one has a great beard too.
The lieutenant nods at the Welkin's facial hair. Well, this has been educational. Let's move on from the Welkins.
Just look at those details. So much effort.
And for what? All gone.
Inspect the photos.
The photo collage depicts barren, icy landscapes wrapped in perpetual night. You see permafrost and glacial landforms, dead trees grown in under the snow. Entire oceans have been frozen from shore to shore. There are pictures of settlements on dried-up riverbeds, abandoned in a storm. Animal corpses in the dark, carcasses and bones. You see primitive oil rigs built into glaciers, boreal dvorg, yurts under the snow, great mammoth-like beasts of burden. Albeit dark and cold, this vision also feels cozy in its own way, like eggnog or morphine, a much-needed respite from our own world.
Oh yes, good old morphine.
A pinned postcard reads, "The heat death scenario. A desperate fight for geothermal energy engulfs the world as Wirral becomes untethered from its sun, drifting through the universe."
Inspect the schedule.
This is a monthly calendar from the year 50. Cryptic words like sprint, daily minimi, and GPI span the marker-drawn grid, the grand scheme of production and money. It looks a bit like an academic calendar, only much more brutal. Minimi stands for a mini-meeting. It's part of a bigger framework for managing work called RUN. Station 41 tried to implement it a few years ago, but failed.
Keep reading. What happened?
As time goes on, the numbers in the boxes grow rarer and rarer. The board becomes an empty snowfield in the final days. Only failure and regret dwell in this region.
Looks like they didn't make it.
The lieutenant looks at the frigid ice field of nothingness.
A note in the bottom left corner of the chalkboard says, "See the prod schedule filament for details."
The prod schedule filament? You mean the one we just got? Inspect the notes.
The handwriting is only partly legible, but you can still make out 3 slogans: "Call in, tune out," "Wirral untethered," and "Heat death of the universe." The full text reads, "Heat death of the universe is the new black." Another note says, "The biggest advancement in role-playing systems since the 30s. Outside, a cold wind wraps the building in its bosom. Snowflakes in the wind. An old woman passes what the locals call the doomed commercial area. She tries hard not to look at the bookstore windows. It's unwise."
Leave. So someone was creating a world. A role-playing game world. Of all things. So it mentioned filament schedule. That's the one we have, but it needs a radio computer for us to read it. Let's have a look at this.
This old fireplace is covered in lines drawn in blue and red marker, the mesh spreading over the stone like blood vessels on alabaster skin. It looks ghostly and strangely ancient. A diagram for summoning some time-forgotten being. The symbols seem very esoteric.
You would say that Inland Empire.
The whole thing resembles Kadran mosaic tiles. Very pedantic.
Hold on, how do I know what Kedron mosaic tiles are supposed to look like?
History classes, students with their textbooks open, studying the roots of our civilization. Those aquarelle blue tiles looked beautiful in the sun.
What am I looking at?
Radio frequencies, it seems. UKV 123.6, UKV 123.7, UKV 123.9. Some written notes, too. Sparse and cryptic.
Radio frequencies for what?
Unclear. It looks like a cardiovascular system split into veins and capillaries. Very advanced.
This must be an elaborate piece of art.
You think so? The web is comprised of radio stations, all lead back to one red heart, titled the Game Master Frequency. A note says, this one can listen in on any station it wants. They must have had massive airwidth. These things don't come cheap.
Wait, who's the Game Master?
Someone very important. A conductor for the hundreds of story threads that pass through the Game Master's frequency.
If it's a game, then who's playing?
Whoever decides to call in to a call-in station, it looks like. A list of names under the stations suggests people across 6 Isolas would be playing. Muindi, Insulinda, Kotla, Grad, Samara, and even Ilmara. All of this is gone, left unrealized. There's no way a little basement studio working here could pull anything like this off.
My God. It's as if the less money they had, the more ambitious their project became.
Mm-hmm. The cost of airwidth alone must have been huge.
Exactly. This schedule, I know doom when I see it. The company was running out of funding.
What else?
Nothing. It's just lines on marble. An echo from times long gone. No one has used the fireplace in ages.
So somebody was using radio frequencies to call the Game Master to participate maybe in the Welkin game? That's an interesting thought. People from different continents playing games with each other. Scribbled across a notebook. Developers of the most advanced RPG in the universe. Again, I can't help but think that's a little bit of a meta commentary there. Did we, we had this. Let's have a look.
This appears to be some kind of machine with a cube-shaped heart and a wired framework. The keyboard has a rectangular on-off button. A piece of paper still hangs from the printer.
A radio computer. Just sitting here without anyone inside.
He sounds surprised and a bit cautious.
But we are looking for a fridge, and we are pressed for time, so...
Oh right, the fridge. That's why we're here.
On the other hand, it's not that I'm not interested in abandoned radio computers.
Yeah, Kim's all about the abandoned radio computers.
This is the Ream Civic radio computer, model RC5120, equipped with a Feld mainframe and a Ream-compatible printer.
Do you think I should turn it on?
Maybe the body has stopped decomposing somehow. I don't know. You're in charge of this expedition, officer.
Now let's turn it on.
The machine lights up like some prehistoric animal stirring from its slumber, revealing fluorescent play and print keys on the keyboard. The hatch on the machine's central compartment is wide open.
Look inside the compartment.
It's empty like a beehive without its brood. Some cables have been left dangling, disconnected. The filament you have would fit perfectly inside the compartment.
That's what I was thinking. Insert the production schedule.
Like a smooth draw, the filament slides into place. On the keyboard, the play key starts blinking.
Press play.
A bar of fabric right above the keyboard starts producing a soft hum. The sound of static seeps through the machine's planar magnetic driver. Have you stirred the ghost of the doomed commercial area from its rest? Could this be its dismembered heart beginning to flutter?
Oh, come on, Inland Empire. It's just not all about mystery and the supernatural.
The static gets louder, slowly filling up the abandoned hall, until a voice speaks out, crackling and old, cutting into the air.
Good afternoon. Fortress accident en rue de Saint-Ghislaine. This is East Insulindian Repeater Station 1. Please repeat. Is this the production schedule?
What's the production schedule?
The filament you have inserted into the reader.
You mean that glowing thing I put inside?
Yes. Is that the production schedule?
Yes.
Good. Please repeat the password.
Password? Of course it would have a password. That's why there's a human administrator involved.
Password? I'm really bad at passwords. Can you give me a hint?
No.
A hint system is not part of the protocol for repeater stations.
Is it my birthday?
Still no.
This is the police. Please open this thing.
I am contractually obliged to protect the privacy of the filament holder Fortress accident. Without filing a warrant with Lintel, I cannot give you access to this filament.
I'm afraid we are not doing that, unless we want to wait for a month.
I don't think we have a month. The body's decomposing.
Now, can you please repeat the password?
The voice in the machine asks again. She sounds cold in the damp air. I don't know the password.
Received. I will register this login attempt.
Don't worry. Passwords have a way of turning up sooner or later.
Is there a post-it note nearby?
Fortress accident. Is there anything else I can do for you today?
Why did you call me Fortress Accident?
Fortress Accident is the company on whose name the terminal you are currently using has been registered to.
Do you have any other information about this company?
One moment.
You hear her flip through a catalog before she reads out with studious care.
Fortress Accident SCA produces revolutionary interactive call-in radio games. That's what the catalog says.
That's not bad.
Wow, so conceptual. She hums. And what's that, this interactive calling radio game?
Any other questions?
What are you, a machine, or are you alive?
Yes, I am alive. I am 74 years old and my name is Yvonne.
She repeats passwords. Programming people are all paranoid.
Yvonne, my partner tells me that you're here because, I'm sorry, my partner tells me that you're here because radio computer guys are all paranoid.
They are merely cautious. It's my job to protect their filaments as a password repeater at the East Insulindian Station.
Okay, but where are you? How did you know where I am?
I work as a repeater at the East Insulindian Repeater Station. It's my job to know where you are, Fortress Accident. As for me, well, I am sitting in my cubicle, surrounded by a wall of radios.
On an island on the river Esperance, a small woman, all skin and bones, sits in a room filled with audio equipment. Thousands of tiny lights are reflected back from her prescription lenses, like stars in the dark. Doesn't it get lonely, sitting there all by herself?
Doesn't it get lonely, doing this job?
Lonely? Why would it get lonely? I get to talk to people all day.
That's why she does this.
Now, please tell me if there's anything else I can do for Tres Accident.
That's all for now.
Thank you, and goodbye.
The old lady's voice disappears along with the static.
Tiles on the cube are still smoldering, casting the framework in a soft glow. Fluorescent play and print keys shine on the keyboard.
Well, let's press print.
Nothing happens.
Oh, remove the production schedule then.
The filament slides out of its glowing nest.
Guess that's it. Kim has something to say though.
Okay. What do you think is going on with that computer, chalkboard, and fireplace?
I guess this one's this one's one for the chat. Someone tried to exorcise the curse using technology? Looks like an undercover counterintelligence program. It's just a failed business. The only question is, what the hell were they making? What do you think, chat? Still nothing. I suppose it is just a failed business. What were they making, though?
Yes, that is the question.
Like he's ready to lay out a fine theory, crafted together like a puzzle box.
It looks like one of those popular pen and paper role-playing games, only these people were trying to automate it, make it work on radio computers.
Utter madness, he thinks, as a compliment.
How were they planning to do that?
Through call-in stations. None of the players have to be physically present. Anyone in the world can participate in the game, as long as they have a two-way radio. Then there's the game master frequency that listens in on the smaller call-in stations. I think that was supposed to coordinate the stories, functioning as a master of ceremonies of sorts.
His fascination has swept aside other concerns for the moment. He's a little hooked. Coordinating so many games would take a whole switchboard of people, possibly divided into sub-frequencies.
Has anyone ever done this before?
Not to my knowledge. They make automated games in Graz, Messina, Königstein. You know, places with industry.
Not in Revachol West, among the ruins.
Not here.
But I don't think anyone has attempted to create an inter-isolary game before. We just don't have the technology.
An ambitious undertaking, then. And this was a role-playing game.
Indeed. Those Welkins are a dead giveaway. Role-playing people love that stuff. The world looks like a modified version of the WeWorld board game, with hit death thrown in.
Super cool. Someone should give them millions of real immediately. This game is too good to be left unfinished.
I agree. What do you think happened to the company?
No idea. They stopped filling out the schedule on the chalkboard.
Wow.
Indeed, it's ambitious and untethered from reality, but...
The lieutenant tilts his head, thinking. Okay, this is one for the chat, I guess. They were insane if they thought they could do this. It was just a play to cheat money out of their investors' pockets. The curse got them. I see no other explanation. The world is cold and lonely. This would keep it company. Let's finish it. Do we have any money? Let's give them more money so they can finish it and make it even bigger. What shall we say to this? Oh yes, it works. It actually works. Kim, do we have any money? Let's give them more money so they can finish it and make it even bigger and make even more money. Kim?
it's too late for that, I'm afraid.
he says, looking around the derelict room. The pipes howl, and her rat crosses the floor.
Okay, let's keep moving.
Let's. So I think with that we got an ultra-liberal point. I'm pretty sure. It's weird that we're sitting at 3 fascist points. So yeah. We're an interesting person to be sure. Okay, we're still looking for the fridge, but we did discover a Revachol West role-playing game concept that just never got off the ground. Just died. As the funding did. But we are looking for oh, hello. Okay, this should be the fridge. Kuno did mention it is a giant white bear thing. That's probably it. Got some money, some magnesium. Let's have a look at the fridge.
You see a terrifying ice bear with a strange compartment in its belly. The door is covered in frost, and the bear's eyes are glowing red. The bear looks oddly realistic. Is it taxidermy?
Crack open the door.
A gust of freezing cold air rushes to greet you. You hear a low grumble as the bear regulates itself. This is the inside of a refrigerator. The lieutenant takes a peek inside. His hand has found the holster of his gun.
Relax, Kim. It's the fridge, remember?
Of course. A giant ice bear-shaped fridge.
He relaxes his hand, his face bathed in the harsh light of the open fridge door.
Just what we were looking for. Let's see what's inside.
Look inside.
The shelves are empty. All you see are crumpled ice cream wrappers with the brand name, Revachol Ice City. A handwritten note has been attached to the door. The fridge is huge.
This is clearly the fridge. It looks big enough to hold 2 corpses.
It's certainly an eccentric choice, but it is capacious and cold enough, too.
But the optics on this are awful, he thinks. We need to be as silent as we can.
Yeah, we wouldn't want the press to get a hold of this, do we?
Your visual confirms you could fit 2 more bodies in the ice bear fridge.
Shall we find 2 more bodies?
Shall we go and get the body, then? I'll take the head, you take the feet. The stairs won't be easy, but we'll manage.
The 2 of you. Easily.
Yeah, because we're the muscle man. Let's do this as we clap our hands.
The body is heavier than you expected, and stinkier. It takes half an hour to get it down to the basement, then 10 more minutes to stuff it into the fridge. The lieutenant takes a step back to admire your handiwork.
Beautiful. A dead body in an ice bear fridge. This is some of the best police work I've ever done.
You've definitely earned a drink after this, perhaps even some pagan rites.
Maybe not the... You know what? I'll just leave this up for the chat. You really? You think it's good work? I'm not sure I believe you. Yes, we need to celebrate by performing pagan rites. Let's bring out the mead and set it on fire. I'm not sure why I even ask. There's like, yeah, I mean... This is the way it was gonna go. Either way. Yes, Kim, we need to celebrate by performing pagan rites. Let's bring out the mead and set it on fire.
I knew you would say that. I knew this would lead to drinking. No, no more. This is paganistic enough, and it does not leave this room.
Oh, friggin' hell. Okay, I'm gonna ask again. Which is it? I think this is a glorious achievement and people need to hear about it. We did our best with the means at our disposal. Yeah, I'm not proud either, but we did find a fridge. This isn't police work, Kim. It's art. We're artists. And this was our vision. We have been very artistic throughout this run. So maybe, like, that sounds like us. It definitely sounds like us. But, yeah. Kim's gonna love this. Kim, this isn't police work, it's art. We're artists. This was our vision.
If I were an artist, this would certainly not be my vision. I would be much, much more conservative in my work.
He's right. His work would be much more formal.
Yes, but we're the real art cop, not Kim.
At least we've stopped the body from decomposing further. Now you can conduct another inspection under controlled circumstances.
Inside the icy realm of the ice bear fridge, the corpse stands slumped, waiting.
Alright, we actually have another opportunity to search the body more thoroughly this time. Let's go through the other options first, though. There was a note on the door. Let's see what it says.
You pocket the note and the little fridge magnets keeping it on the door.
No, let's have a read. Handwritten note from the fridge. A handwritten note you found from the giant ice bear fridge. It still bears some marks from the fruit-shaped kitchen magnets that were used to secure it to the refrigerator door. I wonder if that bears some is an intentional pun or not, because I noticed that immediately. Okay, interact.
The note is written with a blue pencil on a piece of lined office paper. The kitchen magnets have left spots on its surface.
Does it say anything interesting?
The lieutenant leans closer to read the crumpled note over your shoulder.
This is tangential at best, but the lieutenant's detective instinct is still active.
Read the note.
Someone has scribbled, S. I can't believe the off-site copy is still here. The illiterate ginger kid keeps stealing stuff from the studio, so I had to hide it somewhere safe. You'll find the filament memory with the off-site copy in the frozen ice cream maker. Please take it home, ASAP. It's important. I'd do it myself if I lived in a civilized place with a freezer. Take care, Sully Swaff.
I wonder who wrote that note.
Looks like someone from that radio game company upstairs. I'm a little surprised they just left their property lying here.
Maybe they had to leave in a hurry.
That's a plausible hypothesis.
Remind me again, what's a filament memory?
It belongs inside a radio computer, storing its memory. It's like a tape. You listen to disco tapes, right? It's like one of your disco tapes, only for a computer.
It's like the production schedule you found. Only this one's an off-site copy.
Yeah. I think I know who the illiterate ginger kid is. But let's ask it anyway.
Really? You don't have a single guess?
You mean Kuno?
Oh, I'm sure that child would love to get his hands on a filament memory. Even if he doesn't know what to do with it, he'd probably try to pawn it for speed, based on our encounter.
Oh yes, the encounter where I gave him cigarettes and tried to give him booze as well. Do you have any idea where the frozen ice cream maker could be?
I don't know. I assume it's somewhere close to the ice bear fridge.
Fair enough. Put the note away. Very well then, let's keep on exploring the body.
His eyes are still glowing red.
And the fridge.
It's guarding over the freezing corpse hidden inside its belly.
Examine one of the ice cream wrappers in there.
A friendly cartoon bear smiles back at you from a glossy cellophane wrapper. It looks nothing like the fridge, or the decomposing body in it. The paper still smells of vanilla and chocolate, Even under this stench, you can feel it.
What is a giant bear-shaped fridge doing in an abandoned cellar in the first place?
Good question. It looks like an ice cream fridge.
The lieutenant reaches for one of the wrappers. He studies it in the light. So they tried to sell ice cream from this hyper-carnivore?
I know. What an unfortunate marketing choice. What is even worse, the bear is still costing them money to this day.
The lieutenant points at the red snaky cable running from the fridge.
The electricity bill must be catastrophic. On the other hand, it did help us with a certain corpse situation.
It did. We stashed the corpse in the giant ice bear fridge.
Lucky us. Indeed. Refrigerated meat is much better for coroner's work.
Oh, that's an interesting way to look at it, interfacing. Well, we do have a perception check. If the we have -1 again because we established probable cause by hanging, but +2 because we refrigerated it. But if I click this button, the chat should have an option to improve my motorics, which would increase our perception to 7, which would make this check a little bit easier. So once I click this button, it should give you an option to increase a stat and reduce another. So if, well, you may want me to fail, so you could just remove motorics. It's your call, though. I'll leave it up to you. $72. Would you look at that? Let's try to search it one more time thoroughly.
You touch the dead man's body. His skin is cold, light blue and silvery in the light of the fridge. You still have no idea where to begin, or what to even do with him.
It'll come to you sooner or later. At least he's safe here until then.
Even with 72%, we failed. Too bad. We do have 4 skill points. We could just add 1 to perception right now and try it immediately. But I imagine we'll have a chance to take a look at that later, once we've accumulated more clues. An ice cream maker, defrosted and unplugged. The flashlight casts a strange shadow. There's a hidden doorway here. Oh, that actually, yeah. Did I have... I don't... yeah, I couldn't have affected that with clothes, unfortunately. That was as good as it was ever gonna get. Well, we found something. 2 rusty rifles are hidden above the piping. They look inoperable. Someone has stuck some busted guns beneath the ceiling.
A few bricks have fallen off, revealing a compartment behind the wall. It's too dark to see in.
Where are we?
Seems like an old bunker from the revolutionary period. Look at all those rifles. Must be an old weapons cache.
Look, there's a hole in the wall.
There is, yes. And there also appears to be something inside the hole. Interesting. Do you want to take a look?
Nah, Kim. You can do the honors.
Sure. Okay, here's some more rifles. None of these seem to be working. No!
His hand reaches in, rummaging in the dark.
An old Belmagrave rifle. That's rare to find in such good order. Seems to no longer be functional, but still rare. Here.
This should cheer you up.
It's yours, officer. You found this place.
What does this mean, a rifle here?
It means there are firearms, albeit inoperable, still lying around in Martinez. It's an interesting coincidence, I would say. Might come in useful in the future.
He likes this find.
I like this find too. Let's have a look at the Belle McGraw that we just found. A broken Belle McGraw from ages past. It's a 4-shot bolt-action military rifle with a wooden frame. There's a price tag on it. We could sell it for cash. I don't think that would be very smart. I doubt we're gonna do that. But we made some headway here. We actually refrigerated the corpse. We did something good. A frozen ice cream maker that's still running. Over here, some money and some nose fed. I'm actually not holding my tear bag, so I might be missing out on tear. I do need the flashlight though. Even more money. A cellar window. People's feet shuffling by on the street. Oh. Found a piece of clothing. Insane mesh tank top. Which gives us +1 drama, clinically insane. Where did you even get that one? No, really. Who put it in that drawer? No further comments. Wear it at your own risk. Our current shirt gives us +1 physical instrument. That's our signature skill. This is +1 drama. If we ever need to boost drama, we'll know what to do. Intercom wires running into the breaker box. How about the ice cream maker?
This orange machine is buzzing like an old submarine. It has a hand-cranked ice cream churner on top and an electric freezer that appears to be frozen shut.
Turn the ice cream crank.
Turning the crank feels oddly satisfying, like stirring your childhood dreams. In the distance, you hear water dripping. It's all gone now. You'll never become a poet or an entrepreneur. What better to assuage the creeping sense of failure than some frozen fat and sugar?
Try to crack open the lid.
You slip your fingers under the frozen lid, but the ice is too cold for you to get a good grip. A pry bar would come in handy here. No, this is going to need something else. Some kind of super pry bar. Don't even try to open it with a regular pry bar. You're just wasting your time. If you want to try again, then you need to have the pry bar in your hand, detective.
Equip the pry bar by going to the Tools tab in your...
Yes, I know how to equip the pry bar. But interfacing to tell us it's not going to happen with the pry bar.
This orange machine is buzzing like an old sub.
Yeah, wow, look at that.
A hand-cranked ice cream.
-20.
And an electric
Because
freezer.
pry bar not strong enough. I'm not even going to try that. It's never going to happen. Okay, fine. Let's see. There's this thing we haven't examined yet.
2 cables are plugged into the breaker box. The red one leads to the ice bear fridge, and the black one to the ice cream maker nearby.
Well, I don't want to unplug the red cable because we just refrigerated the body, so unplug the black one for some reason.
Something close to you dies with a soft electric purr.
Why did you do that?
I think this one's one for the chat. It's black. It's not like it's a red one. Because it's black, the color of immeasurable cosmos. I don't know why I unplugged it. I do things without any reason. What shall we say? I don't think this is gonna count for anything, but I don't know why I unplugged it, Kim. I don't know why I do anything.
The lieutenant raises his brows, but doesn't say anything. The electric distribution board now has one cable missing.
Let's leave. Well, there's stairs here. Wonder where they lead to. Oh. Well, that's convenient. We're right back here in front of the Whirling in Rags. So this door was closed before, but now we actually got in. Let's have a look here. I think we should still head back inside. See if we can find anything else. The wall collapsed. It's inaccessible now.
A thick layer of coal dust covers the furnace, coloring it pitch black.
Didn't Kim mention there must be a furnace?
Looks like this furnace has a face, and it's a face of agony.
Kim, what is this thing? Is it a furnace?
Looks like it. Looks like an old central furnace used to heat the building. It's connected to the chimney.
He opens the door and gingerly peeks inside.
No one has used it in ages. No signs of any recent fire. Only dead rats.
Look inside the furnace.
It's dark and grimy here. In the darkness you can hear chatter. It's coming from above. A voice or several voices talking to each other. Near the smoke chamber, upstairs. The echo is so prominent, it's impossible to discern what the voices are saying or what's producing them.
What are you doing?
Yeah, I'm gonna leave this up for the chat as well. I'm hallucinating. Or maybe it's the entity. I hear the murder of the hanged man talking. I'm not sure, Kim, but I think I can hear someone talking upstairs. I wish we had more, like, important things to vote on, like actual things that affect anything. But I want to see where this takes us. I hear the murder of the hanged man talking.
Wait, really? Maybe it's coming from behind those safety curtains we saw upstairs.
Kim, are you not gonna react to the fact that I spoke about the murderer? Like, you're not gonna say anything about that? Oh, that is really high. Let's go through these one by one, though. Smear your hands with coal.
A lush layer of coal now covers your skin, sinking into the wrinkles. Your hands look ancient. You feel the spirit of Ramut Karzai, ancient hero of Grad, pulsing through you. All that's left is to cover your face in war paint.
How could I say no to this? Ramut Karzai, smear your cheeks black with coal.
3 dangerous stripes appear onto your cheeks, telling stories of your wild soul.
What are you doing?
I am the reincarnation of an ancient Ilmaran warrior.
Please wipe your face clean, officer.
No, you're a proud warrior. Keep it.
Okay, chat. We probably want to hold on to this war paint. If you want to increase my psyche, that's where authority is. We could bring it up to 4 and keep the this wonderful war paint on our face. I'm gonna click this button and hopefully you'll agree with me. We should pass this check. We should be able to keep it. Or maybe we'll just, you know, screw it up. Which can also be fun. 72. +1 because Kim trusts you, and +1 because of chat. Thank you. Let's do it.
These 3 stripes give you strength in this dangerous realm. It would be foolish to remove them.
We're exploring this dark place, and I need the protection my war paint affords.
And this protects you.
This is traditional war paint. It will grant me safe passage with the spirits that guard this place.
Okay, sure. Go ahead.
He stubbornly looks away from you and the furnace.
Just pointing out, this is not traditional 70s war paint. No idea where you got it.
Just one of those things, I guess. Those voices I heard, maybe it's the malignant entity. Plaisance said it lives in a chimney.
You're right. The rooms do look like they're connected. But malignant entities don't exist. At least not the supernatural kind.
Always has to be the skeptic, this man.
Oh, come on, Romeric. We're a bit of a skeptic ourselves. We're just a bit of we're a nice little mix and match of a logical person who also is into the supernatural to the point where it intrigues him because he's childlike, because of his childlike, completely innocent curiosity. Kick it.
A hollow ring echoes
Ow.
through the furnace. Your toe hurts.
I need to heal myself. I almost died because I kicked a thing. Okay, well, let's have a look. 97%. If we just yell hello into the furnace, it's very high. +1 because we war painted our face. +1 because we kicked it. +1 because we wet our whistle. And because we called Slipstream SCA again. It's been a while since we did that. It was already high enough, but yeah, let's yell hello. I'm not gonna need chat's help for this one, I'm sure.
Something breaks loose in you. A mighty bellow echoes throughout the chimney's depths. The chatter of tiny voices above suddenly cease. Then,
Hello?
You hear a woman's voice answer.
you've awakened the entity.
I summon the ghost of this doomed commercial area. Answer me, spirit!
Hello? Did you say anything? I can't hear you. Please come upstairs. There's a safety curtain on the 2nd floor. I'll open it.
You hear a low rumble upstairs. The sound of a curtain being pulled aside.
After you, officer.
Let's leave. What's that?
Bent metal. Broken glass. Your path lies strewn with the broken forms of everyday objects. You are the destroyer, the bane of inanimate matter.
Yeah, I do rip shit apart.
Kudos.
That gained us a thought. Anti-object task force. Problem. Oh, it's gotta give us -2 to pain threshold because it hurts. It's gonna take 2 hours and 15 minutes to internalize. Take a look at those hands. See how bruised they are? See those little scars? This is Exhibit A. The material world is holding you back. Containers, mailboxes, doors, chairs. They are all your enemies. Always have been. Atoms themselves are in on this conspiracy, forming shapes and structures that you hate. You are energy stuck in a body. You are spirit trapped in matter. Break free. Beat up that lamppost. Let it know just how much objects suck. Well, that's an interesting thought that we got, because we kicked and punched inanimate objects a whole bit. I think we should go for it. Let's unlock a thought cabinet, and start internalizing that. Outside that, well, we did awaken the entity. So I guess we should take a look at that. Look at, investigate the doomed commercial area a little bit further. Supposedly she opened the curtain, and I suppose it's here. Yeah. Well, there she is. We found the malignant entity. This tray is full of dice. Colorful polyhedral dice. Hundreds of them. The candy dispenser has been repurposed to contain thousands of dice. That's a nice idea. Hello, malignant entity. Let's have a talk. I'll just put on this, my book. Let's see, what do we need against the malignant entity in terms of equipment? I think drama is better than physical instrument in this case. Maybe suggestion. But then again, shivers and esprit de corps looks like there might be handy. Half light. I think we're good. But of course, we do need to have some smokes before we speak with her. Seeing how that will improve our intelligence, just like in real life. I also need to heal myself so I won't die. Let's have a little chat.
Hello, I'm Nia.
A bird-like woman sits on a throne of tools with emerald light shining through her hair.
Did you try knocking on my window? I must have missed you. I've been listening to my Melius.
She taps on her headphones.
So what kind of die are you looking for?
Could this be the malicious entity? Perhaps it's wise to go along with this masquerade for now. She's got a direct view to the backyard. You should interrogate her about the Elysium.
Hold on, what do you mean by milieux?
Yes, Amelia is like a call-in station. You need a two-way radio to access one. That's why I have these.
She pats the headphones on the table.
Mostly, they just teach you to swear in different languages. But some of the stations can be quite interesting. I was so absorbed, I must have missed you knocking.
See, it's like in the internet. You must have me confused with someone else. I haven't knocked on your window.
Then how did you get inside? By the south entrance? You know what? It doesn't even matter. What matters is that you're finally here. Let's talk dice. Did you have something specific in mind?
Why are you asking me about dice?
I'm a novelty dice maker. Tell me the name of your role-playing system and I'll make the die you need. That's why you're here, yes?
As she speaks, her bone-like fingers fiddle with a ring. Her bones light, but her hands strong. Role-playing games? You know the one made by Fortress Accident. Does that count?
Sure, I like role-playing games, and I need some dice.
Very good. My rate is 10 real per set, unless you want something really unusual. Take a look around and see if there is any particular stone you want to use.
The walls around her are covered with rows of precious stones and minerals.
It almost looks as if the stones and dice are a natural part of the room, growing out of the shells like stalagmites. No falsehoods are present. She's a novelty dice maker and doesn't have anything to hide. Ask what you need.
We'll see how she has a direct view into the backyard. We should probably interrogate her a little bit. How did she become a dice maker?
How did I become one? It was a business decision. I was a regular jeweler at first, but that's an unfocused field with too much competition. Some of my friends were role players. They asked me to make some polyhedral dice out of cobalt. That was my first order. I grew it from there.
Do you like role-playing games yourself?
Not especially. I like working with rare materials and a steady pay. And role players as customers? They're nice people.
Some of those nice people have big bucks to spend on novelty items. She's thankful for the security they provide her.
What do you know about the man who was lynched behind the whirling in rags?
Nothing really. I didn't know him.
Who cares about the dead body? We might be dealing with a malignant entity here.
Shush, Inland Empire, goddammit. We're doing important police work here.
The lieutenant looks at his notebook, then the woman under the large window.
Your window looks directly onto the courtyard. You're saying you didn't see or hear anything unusual last Sunday evening?
I'm sorry, detective, but as you know, I usually have my headphones on when I'm working. It shuts out most of the daily ruckus behind my window.
What do you mean by daily ruckus?
Well, there's always something going on in the Whirling's backyard.
She stops to try and come up with an example.
During daytime, there are usually those kids. And lately, I've been seeing a lot of drunk workers hanging about. Must be because of the strike.
She's heard of the murder, but did not see it, sire.
But I never saw anyone during that fateful Sunday night, I'm afraid.
And you never took your eyes off the work to look out of the window?
I might have, but in this case, all I would have seen is my own reflection staring back from the darkness.
It's light here, but dark in the yard at night.
It's really hard to make anything out in the yard when it's dark outside. Besides, I rarely get up to look out the window when I'm in the zone.
This person values focus above all. She keeps her sharp sight on the instruments before her.
Do you often work Sunday nights?
It's an odd profession, making dice for people, but I like it, and I prefer doing this to sitting at home.
I see. Thank you for your answers.
She nods.
Anything else, officer?
We'll talk about the dice a little later. Where are we anyway? What is this place?
We're inside the chimney of an old central furnace. It's strange, I know.
She looks at the ruddy bricks that make up the walls. Even though they've been repainted, there are still signs of coal-black soot here and there. It also upgraded our journal. Yep, ask the novelty dice maker about the curse, because we found her. She's the malignant entity. Of course! Lives inside the chimney. Let's interrogate her about that, and let's get this investigate doomed commercial area thing over and done with, because that's important police work that we need to deal with.
But when I arrived here, all the other rooms were taken, so I had to build myself a makeshift home. Besides, I don't really have to pay any rent here, so that's a plus.
Plaisance was right. There's an entity living in the chimney. You should ask her about the curse.
Shush, Inland Empire, goddammit.
Creative.
The lieutenant looks around the spacious room, its ceiling fading into shadows above. I've heard this place is cursed. Did you know that people call it the doomed commercial area?
I've heard the stories, but I don't think those stories are true.
Plaisance is the one who sent me. She's convinced that the place is swarming with malicious energies.
Plaisance, the bookshop lady? I've heard that her business is doing rather well. Have the energies spared her somehow?
Okay, I'm gonna leave this up for the chat. Plaisance is a wise woman. She has 70 trinkets protecting her against the curse. I'm seeing how I'm a logical cop, but I still have these otherworldly views. I'm not opposed to this, but it doesn't sound like me. Actually, the bookstore isn't doing that well. There are hardly any customers, and she has to exploit her own daughter to keep the company going. The curse is just biding its time before it strikes again. Sooner or later, everyone will fail, even her. I don't know why the bookstore hasn't gone bankrupt yet. That's why I'm here to investigate. Which is it, chat? What shall we say? And here I am trying to be the voice of reason. The curse is just biding its time before it strikes again. Sooner or later, everyone will fail. Even her. Even you.
All right. But it's not just the bookstore that's still up and running. What about the whirling in racks? Some people say it's part of the building complex.
Hold on. The whirling is a part of the doomed commercial area?
You could say so. Both houses were built at the same time and under the east of the Commerce Central project.
Yes, but it's a separate building. The malicious energies can't reach there.
And then there is me.
She sighs, looking at her messy work table. All kinds of tools lie there scattered, from knives to carving files to wire cutters.
I've been here for 14 years, selling novelty dice to role-playing enthusiasts. Not exactly a million-real business idea, yet somehow I've survived despite the talk of malicious energies. Strange, isn't it?
It's because she's in cahoots with the demons. Maybe it's just because she's so talented that she's been able to woo the curse.
I just realized that we should have replied with that Whirling's not doing so great either, because some of the tenants are having problems with the rent, which is us. All right, how about I leave this up for the chat too. Blissons think it's because you're the source of it, a malignant entity. It's because you're competent and dedicated to your craft. The curse doesn't affect people like you. The curse will get to you, have no doubt about it. It just doesn't care about earthly time frames. I'll be the first to admit there are many inconsistencies in this so-called curse. Which is it? I think we're establishing ourselves as sort of a logical cop who has a very big stint towards supernatural, but not today. Well, Neha, it's just because you're competent and dedicated. Curse doesn't affect people like you.
What, so the curse only affects people with poor work ethics? What you're describing isn't a curse, it's capitalism.
The jig is up. The she-demon knows you've uncovered her true identity. Time has come to face the source. Fear not, for the forces of the universe are supporting you in this psychic quest.
Alright, we have actual choices. We may be very mysterious about it. Might be you. Or just natural market fluctuations and business decisions. Or we're still not sure. I'm gonna leave a lot of these up to the chat here. Because these are the questions that craft us as a person. And we're starting to be we're getting to be a gauche caviar sort of person. No curse, only business decisions, natural market fluctuations. Okay, let me just have a look here. We are ultra-liberal 2. Is this going to be an ultra-liberal choice? I just want to know.
Exactly. Truth is always so disappointingly mundane and boring. But I'm glad we got this sorted out. Anything else I can help you with today?
That's all she has to say on the subject. She's been thorough and truthful, as far as we can see.
Yeah, she's probably not really a malignant entity, is she? That wasn't an ultra-liberal option, actually. Weirdly enough. I would have thought it was. Shivers is really trying to figure out why hasn't her business failed yet. But, let's ask her about the tenants first. Do you know where they are? Everyone is gone.
More or less. Are you interested in anyone specific?
Oh, quite a lot of them spring to mind.
Oh, yes. There used to be a hair salon here, right?
Yes, I think it was called Androgynous Orlando or something similar. They weren't a big hit around here. Turns out that working class men don't like genderless haircuts. They're scared of that word.
You wouldn't like it either. The others would laugh at you.
That's our signature skill, folks.
A bit of experimenting every now and then isn't bad.
And there's the art cop.
It's not about the haircut. It's about the confidence.
And there's the composure. What's wrong with a bit of experimenting? The customers should have it more open-minded.
I guess it just wasn't the time yet.
She tucks a strand of hair under the headscarf. What happened to the gym?
It wasn't merely a gym, it was Artemitep's boxing club. A community project created to steer at-risk youth away from drugs and crime.
How about you have both? Who was Artemitep?
A kind man from Zemsk. I heard he had some trouble with the law when he was younger, and that's why he wanted to start the gym, as his way of giving back.
Maybe that's what Kuno needs. A community-centric boxing club.
Kuno? Who's Kuno?
I'll leave this up for the chat. Who is Kuno? Is he sort of the king around here? Is he the little ginger Kremling who likes to defile dead bodies? Or, indeed, who is he? We don't know. Who is Kuno? What are our thoughts on the Kuno? He's that little ginger Kremling who likes to defile dead bodies.
Oh yes, you mean the kid with the sailor's mouth? Yes, I've heard him yelling profanities in the backyard.
She looks out of the window. It's oddly quiet there at the moment.
I think it would take more than a gym to help that kid.
I think it will. Cigarettes didn't help either. I tried giving him alcohol, but he wasn't interested. He's a 12-year-old. How did that community project work out?
It didn't. If anything, it made the youth situation in Martinez even worse. At some point, someone started a rumor that the punching bag downstairs was full of amphetamines.
You should have known it. It's not really full of that. No one would store their drugs like that.
Oh, come on, don't be such a downer, Logic.
Eventually, the coalition took away the funding and the club went bankrupt. This was a few years ago. It's gotten much more peaceful around the plaza ever since.
What's up with the broken windows?
Oh, this one's a mess. There used to be a company that promised to repair windows 24 hours a day. What could go wrong with this one, right? Turns out, the business was actually set up as a front for an illicit group that was producing snuff milieu. Who would have guessed?
What's the snuff milieu? Trust me, you don't want to know.
I think I have a good idea of what a snuff milieu is.
And they never cleaned up the debris either. Now it's just littering the hallway and I have no idea how to get rid of it on my own.
Cool, very cool about the debris, but what's a snuff milieu?
It's a sub-Rosa radio station that broadcasts real murders with real victims. Some people pay good money to get off on it.
Nothing changes in her tone as she says that, as if it's just another piece of information to lay out for the world. What does she mean to get off on it?
Electrochemistry is getting very sexual about it.
Don't worry, the ICP has a separate division that deals exclusively with unlicensed sub-roses. This isn't our problem.
Good luck with that. It's not easy catching those perpetrators.
Then she lets the thought go. Did someone here make stuffed animals? I saw mounds lying around.
You mean Mr. Fabron, the taxidermist? No, he mostly just did drugs.
What's that, electrochemistry? You're about to say something?
But what drugs exactly?
Yeah, figured. I need to know what drugs he was doing for my police report.
He got high on some weird taxidermy chemicals. I wouldn't recommend it to anyone. Eventually, they caused him to lose control of his bladder. The smell was awful.
Even you can probably do better than that. You can almost see it. A small, sickly old man, hunched behind his work desk, his pants stained with old piss, stuffing a sad, stiff-legged raccoon dog. The entire scene looks tragic.
I found some creepy mannequins.
There used to be a fashion atelier here, but I have forgotten the head designer's name. They were doing well for a couple of years, until the insect rights activists came.
Insect right activists? What in the name of...
The atelier produced a certain collection that used chitin among the materials. Apparently chitin is made in the Occident, where it's extracted from beetle wings. And you know how all kinds of political movements are big in the Occident. The activists shut down the biggest chitin supplier, which of course caused the price to skyrocket. And, naturally, all the most fashionable tastemakers refused to be seen in chitin from then on. The atelier went bankrupt before they could finish the collection.
Oh, my mic was off. I read these out loud, but I think I'll just leave these up for the chat. What shall we say about chitin clothes? It's not going to amount to much, but I want to see what the chat wants to say. They got what they deserved. Making clothes out of beetle wings is a terrible idea.
At least it had some spark to it. Most young designers just combine lace with leather and call it original.
She shifts in her simple workwear shirt.
As she shifts around, you notice several dead flies on the windowsill in front of her. Legs up. They're not moving.
Anything else?
She doesn't care about them that much. What's with the rotor blades and skis?
They were made by a company called Slipstream. After they pivoted from making rotor blades to skis, their chief executive took off on a vacation with all their money.
She rests her chin on her hand with an impish smile.
Honestly, I think it's quite funny. I think he's still sending out holiday transmissions from Tulula or Tiumotiri or Hashtkor or wherever he is.
Huh. I think this one's one for the chat. Do we just straight up ask what are the transmissions about, or are we gonna be all about the company running off with the company money? Why hasn't he been arrested yet? For crying out loud! So yeah, once I click this button, it should bring it up for the stream. You should be able to click it on the left side, somewhere around here. Should be able to choose. It doesn't always work, not for everybody. But for right now, yeah, we're just gotta be very civil about it. What do the transmissions say?
The usual, I imagine. that he's been thinking up all kinds of new business plans and can't wait to get started on them just as soon as he returns.
Her smile widens before she sees the lieutenant's face behind you.
Men like that are a curse.
The lieutenant is stern.
Sure, but Slipstream is history now. All their remaining assets got seized by the bailiffs in 47. I have no idea why those keys and blades are still lying around in the house. Not much use now, I guess.
They were just the props. Why return them? Maybe you could make a sword out of one. No, wait, forget it. It would take too long.
I like the idea though, interfacing. Maybe make a sword out of them. I found a strange machine.
Fortress Accident, the radio game studio.
She closes her eyes as some remnant of a memory lights up her face.
She liked them.
They were an interesting bunch. We talked about role-playing systems every now and then. Once, I even saw two of them get into fisticuffs over Wirral. They certainly took their work very seriously, even if they seemed to be chronically liberal with their schedules.
What do you mean, liberal? What happened?
The usual. They ran out of money and couldn't get the project done on time.
What went wrong?
Well, I did hear them talking at times.
She looks at the hallway, as if she can still hear them chit-chat behind her curtains on a cigarette break.
They seemed to believe they were historical individuals on some grand quest.
She sounds almost mocking when she says that.
From what I've seen so far, the project did look quite impressive.
Yes, but when the money started to run out, they just began to complain a lot about capitalism. You know, how the markets are rigged to keep out new businesses and so on. In the end, they just didn't get it done. They didn't have enough willpower to produce something truly historic, and to show up to work on time.
Showing up to work on time is hard. No, scratch that. Showing up to work at all is difficult, especially if you've been drinking.
Yeah, especially if we've been drinking electrochemistry. That's what you want us to do. Let's leave this up for the chat. Shall we go with electrochemistry and just admit to the fact that showing up to work on time is hard, especially if you've been drinking? Or maybe we've sort of would have supported them in their endeavor to creating this massive multiplayer online RPG milieu sort of thing. Or maybe they should have just tried harder, spoken like a true ultra-liberal. Which is it, chat? Huh. There we go. Alright, I'm gonna need to do a coin toss on Google for this one. Let's say heads for the first one, tails for the second. And we have tails. That's too bad. I would have supported them. That project looked great.
Not the wisest decision. You would have lost all your savings.
She tosses a pair of dice on the table. One of them stops near the edge of the metallic desk.
The result is 1 on a 20-sided die.
That's like my luck with this game.
The dice is black and filled with little silvery flakes, like snowfall.
Anything else?
There was a terrifying taxidermied bear in the cellar.
Oh boy, the fabled Revachol ICT. You're in for a treat here.
She smiles and leans closer, hands on her knees, like a stand-up comedian ready to tell a story.
The place was owned by two guys who had some rather innovative ideas about marketing. The bear was one of them. Now ask me about their other ideas.
Indeed, what were the other ideas?
Yeah, tell me about the other ideas.
There was really just one, and it involved picking out the prettiest girls in the neighborhood and paying them 20 cents per hour to man the booth. And by man the booth, I mean slump behind the counter with a face that could maim you if you ever dared to disturb their bored magazine browsing.
She leans back, disapproving.
Sounds like she really doesn't know how to be a female ally. Fritta does the same thing.
Yeah, this is one that will shape us as a person. I know a girl just like that. She works in Fritta as a cashier, and she's not particularly friendly. You should learn how to support other women, not bring them down. This is because we, at some point, had the feminist agenda thought pop up. What did they expect? 20 cents per hour is dog's pay. I'm surprised they show up to work at all. That's an award-winning idea. That's absolutely capital. How else do you choose people around you? I don't have an opinion on employing teens. I just want to know, did it work out? Which is it? What kind of a cop are we? What kind of a person are we? That's an absolutely capital idea.
Yeah, some people spend their whole lives chasing the hot one. You should have joined the gorilla-like boyfriends loitering near the stand, ready to scare off customers and hit on the girls. As if they didn't already have the bear.
She closes her eyes as if remembering something painful. What about the bear?
The bear.
She repeats, pressing thumbs into her temples, like trying to suppress a headache. It didn't work out?
Of course not. The bear was terrifying. No one wants ice cream guarded by a hostile apex predator. To make matters worse, the fridge didn't work too well either, and half the ice cream came out malformed and partially melted. Eventually, Ravishore Ice City lost the price war to its rival, Glace 5000. Glace 5000 sold caramel sundaes for only 5 cents a piece, out of regular fridges.
I don't like the idea that half the ice cream came out malformed, especially given the fact that we just stashed a body in that fridge. Yeah, I'm gonna leave this up for the chat too. It's just a market doing its job. I'm sure the bear was doing its best. The bear was scary. Every time I saw the bear, I felt scared, like it would become alive any moment now. Undisputed. It's very scary.
The taxidermist who made it said it was his vision beast. He said he met his vision beast while high on desiccants. He called it Megatherion.
Sounds cool. Scary, but cool.
Megatherion?
Megatherion, a mega wild beast.
What's a mega wild beast?
It's an imaginary beast that guides you through life. By telling you to do more drugs, mostly.
Maybe this wise and noble beast can guide you toward those amphetamines you've been craving.
Hey, do you think that a vision beast could guide me toward some amphetamines?
I don't, officer. You should stay away from drugs and vision beast. Anyway, now you know the story of the fallen ice cream empire.
She seems almost sad, finishing the story.
The temperature has dropped in the cover of the night. You see frost on the windows.
Anything else? Another failed business, perhaps? I've been here for a long time.
I found the building's intercom, but it's not working.
Oh, right. I hope you didn't try to ring me. I think none of those doorbells work, including mine. I'm still in the middle of connecting the wires. Sorry about the confusion.
The doorbell with the empty name card must belong to her then.
So you're telling me that the doorbell with the empty name card was yours?
That's right. I haven't even written my name there. As I said, it's quite useless right now. It doesn't work yet.
I was wondering about the whirling in rags. Is it part of the same building complex?
You could say so. Both houses were built at the same time and under the East Delta Commerce Center project. That explains why you can call the whirling from the intercom, albeit I doubt that anyone responds.
If the whirling is part of the same building, then it's part of the doomed commercial area. The darkness of this place is there, too.
Of course it is. The curse. The curse. It extends to the whirling in rags. I saw a name East Delta Pinball on the doorbell.
Right. It used to be a gaming arcade. This is an ancient failure, before my time. I'm not surprised, however. My advice? Don't base your business on a fad. Hypnotism, floriography, trick-track, especially pinball.
Agreed. Pinball is the worst.
His disdain for pinball could not be clearer.
Kim really doesn't like the pinball. A strange thing happened when I tried calling a company named Slipstream SCA. Someone answered.
It can't be true. They don't work here anymore. They've been gone for years. Are you sure it was Slipstream SCA? Was it a woman? Maybe it was Plaisance from the bookstore.
She said she was from Tricentennial Electrics.
Tricentennial Electrics?
There's a moment before she recognizes the name.
It used to be a major electric company 100 years ago. Are you sure it wasn't just some kids playing a prank on you?
No, it was something else. It was eerie. It was too real to be just a prank. Either we're dealing with a professional actress, or whatever happened, keep your cool. It's probably better to admit that it was a harmless prank.
You know what, let's go with that for now. Or maybe... I'll leave this up for chat as well. Probably just got make fun of something eerie. Or maybe it was a rare electrical anomaly. This seems like the logical thing. This seems like the supernatural thing. This is something else. Yeah, I like how we're going from logical to supernatural. Like just switching it from one side to the other. I like this. No, it was something else. Something eerie as we narrow our eyes.
Pranks can be eerie.
She looks as if she's still convinced it's nothing to be worried about.
Oh, the kids these days. We were just one of them, and now they're terrorizing us. No solidarity.
Actually, the Slipstream SCA mystery might be a recording. I called again later and got exactly the same message.
Why would Slipstream SCA have a 100-year-old recording as their doorbell message? Doesn't make any sense. I'm still convinced it was nothing more than some elaborate prank.
My money is on electrical anomaly. I've heard of these, especially in an old building like this.
See, Kim will chime in with the logical explanation, even if we don't. Even if we're supernatural about it, Kim will not be. I have a few more questions about the building.
Sure, I'm listening. Good. I hope it clarified things a bit. What else?
I guess we could just order a die.
Of course. Tell me what you have in mind.
Let's try number 6 first. I'm looking for something to help with my work.
I think I have just the right one for you.
She opens the top drawer of her work desk and takes something out. 2 polyhedrons, red and blue, are cradled in her palm.
Police covers.
Because I'm a police officer, right?
Not the most original, I know. But sometimes the obvious choice is obvious because it's best. Here, catch. there a gift for me?
She tosses you the dice.
A beautiful woman tossing you a gift. Whatever you do, don't overthink it.
-1, totally overthinking it. Well, chat, this is a red check. This is a one-time only. If you want to improve my chances at this, you'd have to improve my motorics, the yellow skill, while also take it away from something else. But the yellow motorics is what we need to be able to catch the die as she's tossing it at us. Do you want to help me out, or do you want me to fail? It's in your hands. Wow, it has improved. Let's try to catch it.
Mr. Smooth moves. You snatch the dice out of the air with one hand, just like you're in a movie.
Say nothing. Act like you've done this 1,000 times, or wink at the dice maker. I'll just leave this up for the chat since we got a succession. Yeah, Mr. Smooth moves, winks right back.
Oh, what are the odds? The red one is made of bloodstone with a lapis lazuli inlay, and the blue one is the inverse. I believe these dice are your lucky charm, officer.
She winked back at you. Can you believe it? You truly are Mr. Smooth Moves.
Oh, yes.
You definitely need luck in Martinez. Was there anything else?
I guess there is this. It's 17%, and I don't think we have any clothes that are gonna make it any different. We're already wearing our Shivers shirt, or our Shivers jacket. Nothing else is bringing it down. I guess we'll just give it a go.
It's you again. Are you looking for a die?
Even if it fails, we can maybe be able to come back to it. Let's try to figure out why hasn't her business failed yet.
You feel nothing. If anything, it's uncomfortably warm in here.
Yeah, it's really warm. Let's start taking off our clothes. We need to connect.
Excuse me, what are you doing?
The dice maker stares at you while you start to fuss with your pants.
Officer,
I'm just trying to lower my body temperature.
And why would you do that?
The zipper, it's stuck.
Oh no, not the zipper.
She rolls over to the other end of her table with her chair, looking for something to grab from the toolbox.
A tool to get the zipper open.
Is it just me, or is it hot in here?
No, I don't feel hot. We're in a derelict smokestack. If anything, then it's cold here.
It's part of the special technique I have.
And what technique is that?
She squints at you, a little astonished at what she's hearing. You still haven't gotten your zipper open. Okay, hear me out. Sometimes I get these feelings.
Miss, I apologize for my colleague's behavior. He is still recovering from an unusual medical episode.
Officer, this isn't how mature adults deal with their feelings.
Now you feel something. The cold damp of shame washing over you.
I lost morale because of that. No, not like that. It's like I can feel the wind, or I don't know, the air pressure, and then the air tells me things.
The air pressure told you to take your pants off in my studio?
This is not going very well, is it? Word-wise.
No, I'm really not explaining this very well, am I?
Can you please employ this special technique somewhere else? I work here and my work requires concentration. Half-naked people don't help with that.
She turns away so that you can zip up your pants again. Well, that didn't go according to plan. But we did get an Icosahedral roll dice set Sirens. These two 20-sided dice have the colors of a police alarm, bloodstone for red and lapis lazuli for blue. If you roll them and squint your eyes, it looks like you're arriving on the scene, and it's raining. Note, look at the map in the tap journal to see which white checks have opened. So, getting those dice actually did give us an opportunity to re-roll a couple of checks. We do have a few, and maybe we'll get around to those next time in Disco Elysium. As for right now, we've been going for a good while, and we did make some headway. We did actually refrigerate the body. We're still trying to interact with it further, try to find if there's anything suspicious about the way he died. So far we've established cause. But maybe next time we'll take another look at the body. Also try to find our heraldic bird and all this other stuff. For somebody who's investigating a murder, we certainly do have our fair share of tasks, including singing karaoke, which, yeah, that's super important. We need to do that before too long. But for right now, it's bye from Disco. See you next time.